me. I'm live today in Chokoloskee, Florida. This is a hidden gem. I mean, nobody knows about this place unless you really know about this place. And I first learned about it from my dearly departed husband, Ray Becerra, who this was his. This is like I'm not going to say he owned this place, but it was very, very important in his life, and he knew everybody around here. It was always really fun to come here with Ray. In fact, we came here on our first date. Hi. So it's very quiet right now because it's in the off season, which is a good time for me to show you the Smallwood store. This is a very old building. It's amazing that it's still standing after all these years. I believe it was built in the 1800s. I know there's a history to it down there, but it's an antique store, but it's also a shop in a way. So let me show you where we're at. It's very cool. There's the gift shop. Here, wait, let's start at the beginning. Let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. Okay, so this used to be, or it may still be, actually, it is the U.S. Post Office of Chokoloskee, Florida. I'm going to read you the history here. Chokoloskee had the first post office south of Fort Myers on the Gulf Coast. In 1890, C.G. McKinney secured a dozen signatures on a petition requesting a post office on the island. In response to his petition, the federal government told McKinney to work on establishing regular delivery of mail between Chokoloskee, Fort Myers, and Key West for 1 year. If at the end of that year, regular, reliable service had been established, they would be granted a postmaster position for their location. McKinney accomplished this by sending mail via the commercial fishing vessels, run boats, and every passing ship. On the 13th day of February, 1891, C.G. McKinney was appointed postmaster of Comfort, Florida, by Postmaster General J.M. Wanamaker. The following year, Captain Will Gardner received the first contract for the mail route to Key West. And here you can see the original Smallwood homestead. This contained the store and the post office. It was located about 100 yards from the water's edge on higher ground. Ted Smallwood held his position as postmaster, and that's Ted right there, until he retired in 1941. And then his daughter, Thelma, took over as postmaster until 1973. The post office was then moved out of the store and relocated elsewhere on the island. So this isn't really a post office, is it, Brandon?
It's not
This is Brandon, by the way. He works here. Hi, Brandon.
It's not a functioning post office anymore, but yeah, it used to be.
Oh, it did used to be the post office, for real.
A good way to look at this place is kind of like the Walmart of the early 19th.
It's the Walmart of the early 1970s century. I love it at 70s centuries. That's funny. Yeah, better than Walmart. I mean, look at all this stuff. Can you even?
He's a Jack Russell.
Talk about a little time travel situation, huh? Wow. It's so interesting. You know, even way back then, at the turn of the 19th century, people were using all sorts of products. And as a writer, of course, I am always drawn to the old typewriters. The Underwood. Now, that is an amazing typewriter. One of the first Underwood typewriters. Crazy. I used to type right on a Selectra. Hi, baby puppy. Little doggy at my feet. So this is really interesting, and this is what Ray was always talking about and teaching me about. And this is Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. Unfortunately, her name became famous with that horrible shooting back in, when was that? 2017, 18. in the high school in outside of Fort Lauderdale. But anyway, this is the real Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. She was a writer and a historian. It's hard to believe this shady island spot was the scene of one of the region's most celebrated gun battles, the real-life drama that opens Peter Mathiassen's best-selling novel, Killing Mr. Watson. Hey, now here's some history for you. Yet just behind this little Chokoloskee general store, a vengeful mob shot Watson, a local planter widely believed to be a callous killer himself. You know, it's funny. Ray always told me that there was a lot of convicts that would come here to hide, and one of them was the outlaw Josie Wales or something like that, wasn't it? It was a
I heard about. Are you talking about the one that Ed had allegedly killed or something like that?
yeah.
She came from out west, like California or something like that.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess he had killed her out there and then came over here. But everyone was
Wow.
following that story.
Wow. Rumor had it that instead of paying his help, he preferred to get rid of them permanently. High on barnacled pilings, the Smallwood store, that's where we are right now, overlooks the brackish bay at the gateway to the 10,000 Islands. When Ted Smallwood opened his store and post office in 1906, the region was peopled with scrappy trappers and hunters, pioneer farmers, outlaws, and men like Watson, who were some of each. Once a busy trading post where more people arrived to shop by boat than overland, settlers and Seminoles alike came with their furs, feathers, and fish, and left with lard, flour, Epsom salt, and onions. Namesake Smallwood, Ted Smallwood that is, died in 1951, and when the store closed for good in 1982, most of the merchandise stayed put until a nonprofit community group reopened it as a museum. So that's how we're able to see all this really cool stuff. Can you even?
Yeah,
And
everything that was in here when they closed up just kind of sat for 20 years. And then my grandma put everything back to the museum layout.
yeah,
And it took them like a year and a half to do it. But
wow.
everything you see in here is just pretty much just blew the dust off of it.
So what, your grandma all of a sudden was like, hey, museum time. I mean, for 20 years, it just, nothing happened?
It split into 3 shares, and then she had to buy the other shares. And at first, they were actually thinking about turning it into a restaurant, which wasn't like ethical. But they still thought about it. It would have been cool.
Yeah,
cool. It's
yeah,
cool.
it would have, yeah,
Cool wood and everything like that.
yeah.
It just it wouldn't have done good. It probably would have fell apart a lot faster. Where even as old as it is, like we don't really do anything to maintain it. It's held up through this last hurricane we had, Irma, and
Yeah,
like almost a dozen
yeah,
other ones.
yeah. What did Milton do? I mean, I don't see any damage whatsoever.
Nothing wasn't that bad. The only hurricane that kind of threatened this was Irma, because that was like right up underneath the planks. It was a 8-foot surge, and this is 2 feet above sea level, 6-foot stilt, so it was just like inches.
Wow.
Every time it would wake, the water would shoot between like the cracks and everything. Like
Oh my
mountains.
gosh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it was wild.
That is wild.
Yeah, Irma, you couldn't even swim or do anything.
Wow.
Milton, everybody was on airboats and kayaks and stuff like that. It wasn't a big deal at all.
No big deal. I love it. And so you're telling me that all this stuff has been here and it has not moved for the past, what, 50, 100 years?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That's so crazy.
It's all miscellaneous, but
Yeah.
I mean, anywhere from 1917 to 1982.
That's just insane. I love it. I love it. It's a time capsule is what it
I was
is.
just about to say that.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
We're thinking on the same level, Brandon.
I tell that to everyone that comes in here.
Yeah. Welcome to the 1800s, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, this looks like a coffee grinder. Oh yeah, coffee grinder, patented in 1873 and used in the store. Wow, that's just crazy. And that was like the big new thing at the time. Unbelievable. Look how cool this is. They had all some of the same companies still, Hershey's, Pepsi, Baby Ruth, Clark bars, Mary Jane, Almond Joy. Been around for flippin' ever, right? So crazy.
All that candy.
What about the candy, Brandon?
All that candy is just dust now.
It's dust.
It wasn't ever unwrapped or anything like that. It sat there.
Really?
A
Wow.
good deal of those boxes at least, but yeah, it sucks.
So there was candy in there and it's just turned to
A
dust.
few of them turned into like mummified, like little like nasty little balls.
Nasty little balls of mummification. That is just crazy. So these dolls that we're looking at right now, they are wearing traditional Seminole Indian clothing. What do you know about this clothing, Brandon?
I know they put a lot of their own markings on there.
Yeah, all the clothes, all the markings on the clothing mean something
I was
to the.
gonna say
Yeah.
it's just like
Hey,
their own
Ronald.
little language.
Yeah, yeah. So they tell a story, and I guess they establish tribal lineage and history.
It's just like that thing like the cavemen do, like pictographs or whatever you call it. Like they have like
Pictographs, exactly, telling stories through art.
they'll use the same what do you call it?
The dye,
The same design.
the same design. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That proves where they come from. Yeah, that's really interesting. It's amazing that this paper still holds up. The design of these store counters is typical of general stores built before 1900. The inverted slant of the counter enabled a woman to stand up next to the counter without her hoop skirt billowing out behind her and exposing her lower leg. Even though hoop skirts went out before 1900 and the bustle was adopted, Ted drew on his childhood memories when building the store. That's so crazy. I mean, actually accounting for fashion at the time. That's just blows my mind. Look at this picture.
They had catalogs on the orders got anything.
They had catalogs. He says you could order just about anything. Look at all the drinks. Oh my gosh.
Been here my whole life. That's my great grandmother. I still find new stuff in here all the time.
Yeah, oh, Brandon was just saying that this is his family's place. He's been here his whole life and he still finds stuff that he never saw before.
All the time.
What's your favorite thing in here, Brandon?
Probably the bottles. You can
Oh.
see what different bottling companies made them, how old they are, how rare they are. That's what got me into like research and everything in here.
Oh, so
When I was a
you
kid.
do you love genealogy and history and or are you just into the stuff, the old
I'm
stuff?
kind of just into the old stuff.
You're an antiquer.
honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really into like the history of it. It's just more so just to see what it is, where it came from.
Yeah. It is really interesting. And I love that someone young like Brandon actually has an interest in history. But why does he have the interest in history? Because he was raised with it. This is his history, actually. This is his family's history. And I really love it when people continue their histories with the store like this, like a museum. Look at that drift. I mean, this was what it looked like. Hi, Kathy. I do have the Indian dress. Kathy, that's a really, really great idea. Yeah. Look at these. I do have these dresses. And they actually may be worth quite a lot of money. Look at this skin hat. This is like probably their skin. It's crazy. Oh, how I wish Ray were here. But you know what? I'm getting a lot more out of being here than I did whenever I was with Ray because he would focus on one thing and then, I was just always so mesmerized by my husband that I couldn't look at all the different, like, we've never even seen this stuff. I don't remember any of this. I just remember being dazzled by the great Ray Becerra. Look at this. How cool. When it was hot, this spot offered the best breeze off the bay. I'm going to take you for an incredible scene. It was here that Ted Smallwood would climb up onto the countertop and take a nap using a block of wood for a pillow. Can you even? Until the Halfway Creek Bridge was built in 1954, Chokoloskee was accessible only by water. When supply boats came to make deliveries, they tied up at the dock below and loaded the large crates and barrels into this store through this wide doorway. Since very few people came to the store by road, this was also the main entrance to the store, and at that time would have been considered the front door. I'm going to take you through the front door. This method of locking, the method of locking the store remains as it was originally built. One large solid piece of wood rests in the two slots, thus barring the door shut. The top board with the nail in it was added years later after children had broken into the store. Oh, those children. Okay, now look at this. Can you even? So beautiful. Where are all my viewers? How are you missing this? It's just breathtaking. And Brandon gets to work here every day. What an amazing place to and live. So you might be wondering why I'm suddenly in Chokoloskee today. Well, I didn't plan on coming here. I was actually leaving Fort Lauderdale. Sorry, I have really bad connection because we are kind of on the edge of the end of the earth. But anyway, I felt compelled to drive here. I felt compelled to drive here. And as I had this thought that I wanted to come, and a big truck was right next to me. And what was written on the truck? Ray. R-E-Y. Exact way that he spelled it. And I was like, okay, that's enough of a sign for me. So I get a lot of signs from Ray. And I'm getting more and more comfortable with them. So keep them coming, baby. All right, check. I don't know why he wanted me to come here today, but I just know that I feel good here. I feel like I needed a break from the world, and this is my break. Chokoloskee, one of the best kept secrets in South Florida. The fishing is incredible here. This area is absolutely beautiful. This right here is the 10,000 Islands. If you like to kayak, you can literally bring your kayak and you can dock right there. There's a fee, you park, you go, you kayak all over the place. Islands everywhere. Okay, cue dolphins. Where's Todd? Todd! Hi, Maureen. That's a nice house over there, huh? Okay, so imagine back at the turn of the 19th century, and this store is getting a delivery. They would literally come over here. Wait, I have to, oh gosh, I gotta read this to you. Okay. The islands that you see, these islands, the only reason they exist is because of a special place that Ray used to take me called Chokoloskee. There's nowhere like it on earth. It's just fantastic. So beautiful here. You never know what you will see. So keep your Oh, I didn't know that I was lost my feed again. Okay, where did I'm gonna read this whole thing again, okay? Check it out. Maybe I'll make a a short out of it or something. Okay, the, the 10,000 islands consist of sandbars and low islands that are built up into larger islands by the action of the mangrove, otherwise known as Florida's walking trees. The red mangrove, the rhizophora mangle, is easily identified by its tangle of reddish prop roots. These roots provide stability for the trees and allow them to absorb fresh water from salt water. How cool is that, right? Mangroves trap sediments, building land around them. They provide protected nursery areas, feeding grounds, and rookeries. Mangrove islands can reduce wave and flood damage by absorbing the overflowing water. The specialized root system of the mangrove is what helps to stabilize the shoreline. And that's why this building in particular has been able to exist for almost 200 years. I'll have to do some math on that. All right, we're going to go back in. Now imagine you're coming in to shop. All of a sudden, I have a much better feed. Look at this place. Look at this. What in the actual, what even is that? It looks like it's something about coffee. I'm just gonna walk slowly through here. If you see something you want me to stop and focus on, I'm happy to. But this place is just unbelievable. History. Chokoloskee School. My gosh. We are literally walking through a time capsule. Look at the floor. Just everything. Look, ice cube trays. Haven't changed very much, have they? Except now they're made of plastic. I think that's a problem. Oh, the reading material. That's really interesting. Wait, I swear, I thought this guy was real. Look how real he looks. No, seriously. It's hard to believe he's not real. He looks so real. This is creepy. Very, very creepy right there. Dude, what do you read? Oh boy. Well, he looks more real than this sucker, which you are also going to find in this area. Okay, let's see. What were they reading back then? That's a really great question, Kathy. And let's find out the answer with these books. Oh, that Reader's Digest. We've got National Geographics from the 60s and the 70s. And Brandon told us, you know, they had a book that you could order things from. What's this? Okay, here's one. Fluger, a great name in tackle. Bait action. I mean, these people were, you know, wanting to know about fishing. Clearly, fishing is a big deal here. Look, this is a Chris Craft from 1947. What a cool boat. Salt. It's just salt. Look, that's salt. How old is that salt? It could be super old. Look at the recipes. Here's a recipe for you. Yeah, I don't know. That looks really difficult. Here, how about some uncooked frosting? Okay, no, this seems pretty, well, I'm not going to say it's new, but anyway, we're not eating the same food we used to eat. And here's the cover of Life, Women Arise, revolution that will absolutely affect everybody. This is from 1920. It cost 15 cents. Look, Congratulations. It's unbelievable. And then there's this, right below it. And it really it makes me think so much about the fact that the election right now is literally hinging on women who think that they are fighting for the right can't. I'm sorry. I don't look at abortion as health care. And if they want to kick me off of this channel because that's how I feel, that's just how I feel. I am the baby. I have the baby's point of view. And as the baby, as that unwanted pregnancy, I'll tell you what I want. I want to live. I want to live. I want to have a wonderful life. That's all. Okay, check this out right here. Funny I should speak about elections because local elections were held here right at this table. Smallwood's store was a post office and the only business on the island for so many years, so naturally it was a center for political activity. At this table right here, Thelma registered voters and then they would cast their ballots for the county elections. The ballot box sat on the floor next to the table. Everglades City was the county seat until 1960. After Hurricane Donna destroyed 3/4 of Everglades City, the county seat was then moved to Naples, where the population was around 2,500 people. By the way, the population of this area, I believe well under 300. 300. That's crazy, right? The population in Everglades City prior to the hurricane was around 5,000, and now it's about it's around 300. That's wild, isn't it? Check out this kerosene heater. I don't know how often they needed it, but it was the main source of heat after the death of the original pot-bellied stove. It was placed in this area so it would warm the post office and family areas. So I guess the family also lived here, which is wild. Yeah, they lived here because look, here's their sink, which it looks like they may still use. No, they don't. They don't use it. The fruit press. This kitchen utensil was necessary to make homemade preserves, jams, and jellies from the native tropical fruits that grew on the island. The guava fruit is full of small seeds, but prized for the excellent jelly made from it. And this press was used to separate the seeds from the pulp. So this was definitely their kitchen area. So cool. Meals were prepared at the store for family members and guests. Homemade biscuits, bread, cakes, and full course meals were prepared right in this area. An active yeast starter was always sitting on the table with the blue legs. Where's the table with the blue legs? I don't see the table with the blue legs. Well, anyway. At one time, a wood-burning stove also rested in the kitchen. The daily baking was not interrupted during the war when sugar was rationed. Caro syrup was used instead. It is said that the best bread on the island was rolled out on this table. And clearly, this is where the family and their friends would dine. Yep, this is the dinner table. Many meals were eaten at this table. It was built by Nancy, the youngest Smallwood daughter, and it is still used today. Around the turn of the century, the Smallwood store had no specific business hours. People came from long distances to trade, and the wind, weather, and tides determined the time of their arrival. The entire Smallwood family's life revolved around trade at the store. They manned the store day and night when there was business to be done or when they were awaiting the arrival of overdue patrons. And clearly, it's the same, and I'm still so freaked out by that dude sitting over there. He looks so real, it's unbelievable. Anyway, you can see Brandon is still part of this family store, so it is still very much a family business. All right, one more section of the store, and then I'm gonna say ciao for now, because like I said, I could spend all day here. But this is the gift shop, and they have all sorts of cool things for sale at the Smallwood Trading Post, established in 1930, apparently. And there's a bunch of books here about this area. And eventually, I gotta say, eventually there will be a book here called My Life in the Everglades, which will be written by my husband, but edited by me and produced by me. So that's going to be super exciting, and I can't wait for that to happen. I got to make it happen, though, but I got a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, I am going to say, wait, got to get a nice background. All right, so ciao for now from Chokoloskee's Smallwood store. Have a great rest of your day.